you.
Yes, good morning everybody. We're actually losing a microphone today because we're also going to film and live stream some of the presentations today, which is a new thing for us, so we're quite excited about it. For the ones of you that don't know me, I'm Peter van der Linde, so I'm one of the directors of Akvo. And I first wanted to tell you a little bit about this building for the people that have never been here before, because we're actually in a very old warehouse of the West India Company, built in 1642, and it was from here that we sailed across the globe, and actually the New York was run from this building for a few years, so it has an old history. And things changed a lot when back then we used to use the waterways to connect to people, and I think we're now looking at a different age where internet and mobile phones make it easier for people to connect. And the three organizations in this building, so the 1% Club here, Text to Change and Akvo, think this has a big impact and can really change the way in which development aid is run. What I'm going to do today is to give you a short overview of where we're at and where we position the different elements of the program today in the speakers. As most of you know, we've been working on what we call Akvo RSR, and which is basically a system that has helped a lot of our partners, now over 700 globally, to bring development projects online. So how do we make it easier for donors to see what's actually happening, whether you're an individual, a government, a company? We're now using this, it's being used across the globe, and as most of you know, it can be embedded into your own website. And we're going to have Adrian after me speaking really about this. So what have we been doing with these products? What have we developed? What is new? And what are the plans to take this further? We're also going to have a few examples of this, so people speaking really about their experience about this. That's only half the story, because software in itself doesn't change anything. That's really what I believe. So you need to have ways in which you can help people, particularly in the field, to get used to this. And so we've spent a lot of time over the last year about training. So how do we help and develop packages and support structures in which we can teach local people to adopt these new ways of working. And that's where Catalijn is going to present what we've been doing and also what our plans are. But that's not all. There's usually quite a lot of barriers, cultural barriers inside an organization that make it quite hard to adapt to these new ways of working. What we still see is that a lot of organizations treat the type of things that we're working on as something to try out or pilot. But what does it really mean when you want to internalize that? And we've got Ewan Sample, I don't see, in the back. Very excited about it. He wrote the book, Organizations Don't Tweet, People Do. And he's going to talk about more of the deeper challenges in adopting these type of ways of working. Manuel, I wanted to introduce you with a bit of M&Ms. No, so we're quite excited. So actually we've been working with Mars, the company Mars Chocolate, and Manuel's here from originally Mexico, from the US. And we've been working on the sustainability of the cacao sector in Ivory Coast. And Mars is also adopting the RSR platform. It's been using Flow, so we're quite excited to have him speaking about that experience and also the new ways of working that Mars is incorporating. I think it's quite unique, the scale at which they're introducing sustainability across everything they do. Then we're going to have a short lunch break, followed by workshops, 2 rounds of workshops. They're going to be presented by Yoshi, I think, in more detail, but we have several themes. Open data and introduction, because it's quite a new theme. We're going to have Akvo platform more in depth to talk about features, requests, everything that's going to be run by Adrian. We have a hands-on communication session by Mark and Ewan as well about blogging. And we have a partner request session. We've got these cards. So if there are individual questions, please write them down. Things you want to talk about, everything that pops up, we collect them. And then we have a session to talk about them. It's also a place for us to ask questions to you, because we have questions, for example, about our West African strategy, We need an office there. Can we use other people's facilities? Volunteers, how do we work with volunteers? We have some challenges. We still haven't figured out how to do it. So it's about a two-way session. UNDP, after lunch, we've been working with United Nations Development Program. Jura is sitting there, who's been introducing this into a large multilateral organization, which is challenges in itself. And he's been adopting it into Eastern European context. And we're going to hear from him what worked and what didn't work. So I'm very excited that you're here as well, from Bratislava. Akvo Flow, I think most of you have heard about it. Data collection in our sector is usually done like this, paper and a pen. And we think there's a lot of opportunities to use new tools for data collection. So we've been working on a system called Akvo Flow. I think most of you have heard about it. But it makes it possible to design surveys centrally, send it to a smartphone, and in the field you can collect data or map large numbers of data points. We have a speaker from Liberia, Abdul, from the government of Liberia. We're quite excited that you made it here. It was quite a challenge, we have to say, but we're very excited because this is really used at scale. So Abdul's going to talk about the program they did to map 30,000 water wells in Liberia, how this information was used, how it changed the way they operate. So we're very excited because it's the first time these tools have been used at such a scale, and I think it shows the potential. Then we're going to have a demo. So we're actually going to demonstrate Flow to you, and we're going to make split up in smaller groups, do a tour across Amsterdam. So we're going to walk through some cultural sites, and you're going to try and use Flow. Because we don't only want to talk about it, we also want to do it. And then Akvo Open 8, it's not specifically in the program, but I want to mention it. It's a new development, and Siem, I don't know where Siem is sitting, in the back, has been working on this. You've probably heard that there's a lot of movements about opening up data, and there's now almost 75% of all donors have agreed to open up financial data. So what are they funding where? You might have read the Dutch newspapers that the Dutch government is now rated at the 3rd level of the most transparent in publishing that data. And it's partly due to Open8.nl that has been launched also by Siem. And what it does, it takes all the data of the Dutch government, for example, what they're funding where, and it makes it accessible. We've been also implementing that for UN Habitat. Oh. And we've set up something sort of behind the scenes, Akvo Open 8, where we actually are able, and I think it's the only place where this happens globally now, that we're able to take all the data of all these funders and make it accessible. So if you would actually go to this website and you would click on a country, you can actually see what are all these funders, so DFID, World Bank, Gates Foundation, Hewlett-Packard, all of them at this moment planning to fund into a specific country, into a specific area. So we're quite excited about these developments. There's a workshop about this. We don't have a speaker, but Siem is here also to answer questions about that. And then we end with drinks, also important, around 5. So that's where I wanted to stop. We have a lot of speakers here. We treat this as an open session, so please, if you have questions or anything, pop up. That's why we're here. And I would like to give the floor to Adrian.